Welcome to Roofing Road Trips, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey across the world of roofing. From fascinating interviews with roofing experts to on-the-road adventures, we'll uncover the stories, innovations, and challenges that shape the rooftops over our heads. So fasten your seatbelts and join us as we embark on this exciting roofing road trip. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Roofing Road Trips from rooferscoffeeshop.com. My name is Megan Ellsworth. I'm here with Lauren Morely from R3NG and CP&M and Aaron Weinstein from Terial. Hello, my friends. How are you?
Great.
Doing awesome.
Yay. Thanks for being here. To start out, Aaron, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Terial?
100%. Thanks, Megan, for having us on the podcast. I'm Aaron Weinstein, co-founder and CEO of Terial, and we are a one-stop shop for commercial roofing contractors when it comes to technology. So think of us helping support everything from managing your sales and estimating process through closing an invoice and finishing a re-roof project.
Amazing. Lauren, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Yeah, so I'm Lauren Morely, and I own R3NG out of Denver, Colorado, and we are a commercial roofing contractor. We focus on large commercial roofs, both multifamily and low-slope private asset management, and we have a pretty robust service department.
Amazing. Well, I am so excited to talk all things software today. And over the past several years, what changes have you guys seen in what roofers need from their commercial roofing software? Like, how has that progression looked? Maybe Lauren, for you first.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think there's two answers to that. I think obviously, having to stack your technology has been a huge topic, right? How many platforms can you possibly need for an industry that doesn't really like technology?
Yeah.
I mean, even me being probably one of the younger generation roofing owners still struggle with how you get the best technology that fits each thing that you need. Right now, or at least before today, we were using something for time clocks, something for proposals, something for estimating, something for photos. So, 17 different outfits for one thing. I think probably the other thing I've noticed is a lot of growth in all the different platforms and different ones coming out. I've always joked that I've always felt like there's kind of programs that speak Japanese and programs that speak Latin, but none that really spoke English.
Yeah. Or roofing.
Which is probably not English, I guess.
Definitely not.
I need to take that from you, Lauren. I really like that that saying right there.
Yeah.
Aaron, how have you witnessed the changes in terms of what roofers need out of their technology, the software that they use?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start out by saying I am a lot newer, and we are a lot newer to the industry than Lauren, who's been kind of an owner and building and operating this business for many years successfully. I think where we came in, and this was a little over 2 years ago, so we're still a relatively new name in the industry, is we identified that gap or that issue, that problem that Lauren just stated, which was you should not need 8, 10, 11 pieces of software to run your commercial roofing business. You just shouldn't. And the worst part about that is that none of those pieces of software would speak to each other. So I think when we came in, we said, how do we build the easiest piece of software or platform to operate both in the field and in the office, but then how do we also kind of combine those distinct point solutions? And I think first off, there's been a resounding sigh of relief when we work with contractors and folks like Lauren and her team, not just in that, hey, we brought something to market. We continue to invest really heavily in bringing new kind of parts of the workflow under our umbrella. So we didn't just stop and say, hey, we're going to focus on just service and just kind of lead generation. We said, we have really high ambitions and we're going to invest in building the best platform, not just today, but in 5 years and 10 years down the road. Because if you don't keep reinvesting in the platform, you kind of fall behind. And when you fall behind, it's really hard to kind of regain that trust. So that is really what I've noticed, and maybe a long-winded way of answering your question, but I think the reception to technology has been, I've been very happy and pleasantly surprised with just, how people like Lauren are willing to take those bets on us, because I know for many years there have been a lot of folks who've promised the world and then delivered, a small fraction of that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's so easy to get excited about a new software and think that it's gonna be this, like, magical thing that's gonna solve all of your problems, and then you start implementing it, and it turns out sometimes it's the opposite. And, so really working with a team closely to work out those kinks is so important. What are some of the main shortcomings you see, or in your case, Lauren, have experienced in traditional commercial roofing software?
Um, I think that what we've run into is either there isn't enough there to give us as the owners or the controllers the ability to do what we need to do on the back end to run our company because it's just too simplistic, or it is not usable. Um,
Yeah.
I think that historically commercial platforms are overcomplicated. They take too
Mm,
many steps to do something, or they expect a roofer to be able to complete a service ticket in whole while they're on top of the roof.
mm,
They don't live in the reality of what it's like to actually do the work. So I think that would probably be what I would say is the number one biggest issue. And then that's the other part. They're all too focused on one thing, right?
right.
Like there may be a CRM, or maybe they're a production platform, or maybe they're an estimating platform, but they're not really, you know, they're all this much into this much rather than this much into this much, which is what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is nice to have it all just in one rather than like, oh, can this integrate with that? Can that integrate with this? Oh, but what about this over here? That needs to be able to integrate. And that just gets
Well,
chaotic
yeah,
after
and
a
we all
while.
know too on top of that, you might be using a third party platform to do one portion of your work using like this over here, and then all of a sudden this guy buys this portion of your third party, and now you're like, well, great. Now do I do? So using third
Yeah.
party now has this extra risk because everyone's getting bought. So it's
Yep.
scary to try to put too much into one platform that you don't know is even going to be around for you to use in a year from now.
That's so true. What a good point. Aaron, what are some of the main shortcomings you've seen with traditional roofing software that maybe is why you started Terial?
I think Lauren hit the nail on the head with a lot of it. I think one thing that I'll maybe share just from working with hundreds of contractors at this point is that there's this assumption, and I think it's a false assumption, that a lot of the older pieces of software made, which was there is one step-by-step process to do a workflow. And you were going to follow that path, that click path as a user, for example, to complete a maintenance job. And if you deviate one step, good luck. And we've built that material with like the opposite mentality, which was, to be honest, the only reason we could do that is because I don't come from directly within the industry. I haven't actually done the hard work of installing these roofs, and I'm so open
Yeah.
about it. And I'm like, hey, we are building software to be the best piece of software you've ever used in the industry, but I don't know how you do your job so well. All we're going to do is provide the framework and the rails. So we have provided, I would say, the right amount of flexibility. And when I say the right amount, we are not ever going to be this build, I'll call it the sales force of, hey, you're going to start from zero and you're going to have to hire a really expensive consultant to build it. With all due respect to Salesforce, we're not doing that, but we're also, providing the SOPs needed for those who ask for it. But at the end of the day, we don't come in with software and say, now you need to run your business around our software. It's very much
Right.
how do you continue running your business and your workflows while adapting or adopting a new platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because it just makes me think about like we start every safety meeting. We'll go through everything, right? And it's like, who's in charge of safety? Everyone. Who's in charge of sales? Everyone. Like, really, in reality, everyone at every roof company is in charge of everything. And it's almost like your guys' lack of knowing how to do things the right way allowed you to build this platform in a way that's like, well, then we're just going to make it so everyone can do everything which is what we needed, right? Like that's what we needed. So
Yeah,
glad you
well
had that
said.
knowledge, Aaron. That's great.
I
You know
think
what?
that's
It's our
so good.
superpower in a weird way. I think it
Not
really
no.
helped us. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? We rely on so many people to inform us on, hey, this is the pains that we're facing. And because of that, we have not, over indexed on one person or one unique story, because we know every roofer is different. Every contractor is different.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've taken bits and pieces and wisdom from expertise all across the industry and built something really special because of that.
I mean, I think Alec might have a whole notebook of ideas I've been giving him today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
His hand is probably cramping.
Let's address that elephant in the room. Lauren is currently working with Terial an in-person onboarding today. So some of Aaron's team is here in Denver with Lauren and her team working on onboarding R3NG. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
No, it's been great. I mean, we were with one platform for a really long time that was just not based for commercial. It worked for what we needed for a long time, but it just wasn't a service platform. Tried for a couple of years to integrate into a different platform unsuccessfully. Accidentally met Aaron at a sales conference.
We should talk about that story after, by the way.
Yeah, a good one to tell. And yeah, so we've been building our platform out for a few months, and we've been here and training all day. And I will tell you, if a year ago you had told me that I was going to be willing to select a new commercial platform, integrate into that platform, and go live and have my staff excited about it, I would have told you that you were smoking crack. So
Yeah.
I would not have believed you. I'm like, okay.
Wow, I love that for you. This is so exciting then.
Yeah.
You're doing it. It's happening.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not
And you didn't have to
my
smoke
staff
crack.
behind me with with whatever you drive them by.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when a company decides to switch their software, what tends to be kind of, what tends to tip the scale? Tends to be the piece of grass that broke the camel's back.
So I'm sure it's different for everyone. For us, our big thing was our services department was the biggest struggle. We were with a residential platform. And so it just wasn't built in a way that was meant to give you the historical data of individual roofs, because residential roofers don't need that, which is understandable. So we really needed something that was going to give us a better historical background of data so that we could give more to our clients. So that's what started us down the path, right? And then once you're down it, then it is also like, wow, I'd really love to not pay 17 subscriptions a month. I'd love to not have to train my new guy on 15 different. So that's a little bit a part of it too. Yeah, I think those are honestly probably the two biggest things.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron, what have you seen that tends to be like the last thing?
The last straw.
The last straw.
We see a lot of different flavors of the same thing, but it's that something's breaking or something is stopping us from getting to that next tier. And whether that is a revenue goal, whether that's a profitability goal, or whether that's like hey, I am working 60, 70 hours a week as an owner, and I want to take a step back and I want to be able to have the confidence that my business is running without me. We've seen it all. Like we recently onboarded a client who literally could point to a $600,000 loss because of a transition that they made that was unsuccessful, and then not being able to manage their service and maintenance department. That's probably the most extreme example, and that's a $600,000 loss in 1 year, which is pretty remarkably frightening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit better, although my number wasn't that much lower than that, but I feel a little better.
No, I know. I mean, it frightens me as a business owner too, right? When I hear that, I'm like, oh my God. But I hear so many versions of the same thing, right? Sometimes it's like, I need a lifeboat. We tend to think of ourselves not as the lifeboat, but more as like the on-ramp to growth. But like sometimes it is a lifeboat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing I'd say, like, what I learned more than anything, it's a huge investment. Picking a platform, and it's a huge investment in time, in money, in morale. It's a huge investment. And I think because of that, a lot of owners take it on as their project, right? That it's something they have to choose because it's their investment for their future. And that is the wrong way to do it. Like, if I could go back in time 4 years ago, I would have involved every single member of my staff before ever making a decision. And when we chose to switch to Terial, I'm pretty sure Aaron himself met with every member of my staff some multiple times. Like, I was like, I am not making a decision until everyone is on board. One, because they deal with the software a lot more than I do, right?
Yeah.
It's something I have to understand. But two, um, then that way, if we all decide as a group, then everyone is more committed. It's not my project anymore. It's everyone's project.
Yeah. 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 So well said. Well said. I love that. It's everyone's, and you're so right. As an owner, you're not the one in the daily grind going and putting in the photos or what have you into the app and putting in all the info for each roof. So picking something that is accessible to all members of your team is so important. Have you seen a shift in how teams are thinking about integrating financial tools into their project workflows, or just like a shift in how your team approaches software that you use?
I think that's going to be a really good question to ask me in 2 months from now. They
Ooh,
have a lot
perfect.
more, when they have a lot more at their fingertips.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very, very lucky that I have a team that is very driven by what's best for the client and what's best for the dollar.
Mm,
And we've just kind of made the tools that we have at our discretion work. We haven't had a platform that's allowed us to do that until now. So
yeah.
ask me that in 2 months.
Yeah. Love it. Aaron, have you seen a shift in how teams are thinking about integrating financial tools into their project software workflows?
Yes, definitely. I think there's a general shift that I think a lot of people are aware of, which is that like the legacy accounting and ERP systems that are not cloud based have been basically, they all launched their own cloud based version of X. So I know there are still a bunch of legacy systems that are really hard to extract data from or push data into. But I
Yeah.
think what I've seen, which has been nice, especially in the last year or so, you have this kind of understanding. And fortunately, I know some of the teams that lead these accounting systems, and I think historically they didn't have a lot, there wasn't enough pushback from the industry that, hey, you need to allow or have an open API or allow people to connect with your system. So I do
Yeah.
think we're starting to see from not just the QuickBooks of the world, which still is the predominant, I would say open API and accounting
Yeah.
system that we deal with, but from like the foundations in the world. And otherwise, like for many years, there was not a ton of willingness, it seemed, to open up the API or to develop an open API if it didn't already exist. I think we're seeing a big shift there. And I think the other thing that I'll just mention is this accountability that Lauren and her team do so well, which is everyone is accountable for like the shared success. Like if we
Yeah.
do well on a project and if we deliver to our client and we are profitable on this, then we're going to be able to get that next job. I think there's this empowerment where if you have the financials, even if it's like high level project financials within a system like Terial, everyone feels accountable towards it. It's not just the people who are closing the books. And I think at the end of the day, like you want to empower your entire team to succeed and financially succeed. So that is one shift that I'm seeing. So one on the accounting side, the other on like the internal team empowerment side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, just as someone that works in a company myself, that's so true. I've seen that as well of kind of everyone taking on the responsibility of like sink or swim
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
situation. So, what are some best practices when it comes to pacing updates or product evolution when you're choosing a platform for your team? Like, when you chose to go with Terial, like, what was the onboarding process like? When did you choose, like, "I wanna do it this many weeks apart," or whatever? What did that look like for
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I will say ours was a bit more circumstantial,
Yeah.
because I think we did what a lot of companies do, which is, push till the fall, push till it's not busy. And um, the reason we in particular did that was more of a morale decision.
Okay.
My staff had been through a lot in the last project we took on to try to get to a
Yeah.
different commercial platform. And it took a lot out of them. And I
Yeah.
just felt very confident that giving them that brain break, giving them that, that intermission period of saying, look, we're just going to press pause. We'd already put all the contingencies in place, knowing that that wasn't going to work, that like shoving a new software down their throat wasn't going to do me any good. Right.
Yeah.
What I would say to that is I think that if you're not in that very unique position, that isn't the move I would have made. I would have just said, okay, we picked it. We all just did the demos together. We all like it. Let's do it while we're enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
You never know. This week in particular, we have 3 large service projects, 2 large production projects, and our largest project of the year starting next week and 3 going this week. So like, you just don't know, right? I mean, when we
Yeah.
scheduled this 3 months ago, it might have seemed like the off season, but
Yeah.
it's not. We're busier
No.
than we've ever been. So I think
Of course.
normally
That's just how it works.
that's how. So I would just tell people normally, like, once you pick it, commit to it and do it. If your staff has been through trauma, maybe give them a minute. So
Yeah. For sure. Aaron, what does the typical onboarding process look like for Terial?
So like what Lauren said, unless there's a circumstance where it's like, hey, we want to delay to a certain date, we will go through our demos really kind of team by team. And then once we had a signed contract, we target 2 weeks. So really that's like 2 weeks from the signed contract to getting all the data in the system, having multiple meetings in between. And then that 2 weeks culminates in either in-person training and onboarding, like what Lauren and the team are doing today, or some version of a virtual onboarding and training.
Okay.
So we try to work really quickly, and it's not a successful onboarding if Lauren and her team are not using the software from the day after we leave, or even the second day of like the training. So it's a very kind of like hands-on process for us.
which I would
Yeah.
say that's probably accurate. I mean, ours happened to be over a long period of time, but we probably put about 2 weeks worth of work into it. And our full
Okay.
plan, like when they leave tomorrow, I told the guys like we're on Terial once they leave, so be ready.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And it's very
We'll
much a
definitely have to do a follow-up.
continuation. Yeah. No, Lauren knows this, but other than the in-person training, like we have so many touch points. Greg, our head of customer success, is fantastic and just runs a really tight ship when it comes to engagement and making sure that we continue to push the training, especially for folks who might benefit from additional sessions after we leave. So that's
Yeah.
always a part of it.
Love it. Love it. Aaron, from your perspective, I'd love to hear what kind of customer experience when you're onboarding and in providing helpful tools after onboarding, how does that experience help move the needle when it comes to their clients' success? And yours, I suppose, but how does you helping the company onboard well and, successfully help them in the long run?
Yeah, I think where I think we perform the best. I know we have the best product in the market. I know we have like continued to invest in the best tech. Our customer support, our customer experience, like the level of service that we put into every single contractor on our platform, regardless of size, is unmatched. And I think where that shows is that there's something about we've tried to build a really simple platform. But at the end of the day, like we work with folks all over the gamut who might not have used tech in their day to day. And that's totally okay. I think we meet our clients where they are. So whether that means the first time they're using a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop, then that's totally fine. We're going to train them there. I think one of the things that frustrates me the most with some software, and not even relevant to this industry per se, but any software, is if someone shames you for not knowing XYZ. It's like, hey, at the end of the day, like everyone learns at their own pace. And if you can't meet the user where they are, you are not going to be successful as a business because they're going to not feel great about having to sign into a platform that's resistant to helping them get up to speed. So we're really, really, everyone trains a little differently. And I think one of the amazing parts about our customer success team is that we hire for empathy. We hire for like trainability. And if I'm interviewing someone to join my team and I get a glimpse of this person can't meet someone where they are, then unfortunately they're not a fit for our team.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I always say, like, people have to have their aha moment with anything before they get it, right? You can conceptually understand anything, but until you're like, oh, that makes sense, like, you don't get it, right? And I
Yeah.
think you have to have trainers who recognize that. Like just today, I can't remember what it was. It was something fairly simple, but one of my guys who could just tell he didn't quite get it, but he
Yeah.
didn't want to say like, I don't really get it, but he's like, it's fine. And like Greg was like, well, no, if you haven't figured it out, like let's do it again because it's not helpful if you haven't figured it out. And most
Yeah.
of the time, people don't want to raise their hand when the whole room's like, oh yeah, we get it. Let's go on. To be like, I don't quite get that. So I think having trainers who like recognize that is really helpful.
That's the hardest part about learning something new is being able to recognize when you don't understand it and then speaking up about it and asking for that clarification and stuff. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Having people that recognize that is massive. So, oh my gosh, this has been the best podcast of my life, I think.
Although I feel like Aaron,
Testimonial, let's go.
should we end it with telling the story of how we met?
Let's do it.
I think we have to. Yeah.
Yes, I have to hear this. How did you two meet?
So, Megan, as you know, I'm a part of the Greg Hain peer-to-peer group.
Oh, yes.
So I've been a part of it for like 5 or 6 years. It's based in my Bible of what I do in my company. So I had been dealing with it ordeal with the platform I was trying to switch to for quite a while. Greg knew about this. And at one point, Stephanie from RNG Roofing, she is in my peer-to-peer group. Shout out to Stephanie. She's amazing.
Hey.
Yeah.
She had mentioned that she was switching to Terial like a year and a half ago now. It was a while ago, probably 8 months before I met Aaron. And Greg very offhandedly was like, yeah, Terial. They're probably one of the first ones I've seen that like can do it all. And I remember in my head, it was like a little like ding, ding, ding. Like, wait a minute. I've never heard Greg say that before. What was that? But at the time I was very invested. Like I spent a lot of time and money into this other platform. So I kind of just, I filed it. I filed it away. I didn't forget it. So fast forward like 8 months, I'm at the Sales Transformation Group conference. And I just happened to end up at this table talking to this person. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure he even asked me, like, what's one of the biggest struggles that you're dealing with? Didn't tell me who he was. Had no clue who he was. And I may have spent a good 20 minutes discussing my biggest issue in my company, which was my technology platform at the time. And he was like, well, it's really nice to meet you. My name is Aaron. I'm the co-founder of this company. It's called Terial. And I may have used a couple of expletives being like, shut the up. Like, and he was like, oh, is that good or bad? I was
I don't know how to feel.
I literally was like, I cannot believe you're standing in front of me right now. That is crazy. Like, we had just decided to like pull the plug and start over. And then we probably hung out for like 4 hours that night, something like that.
Wow.
And not even talking, just chatting about like what it's like to run a company, what it's like to start a company. He's from the East Coast, my dad's from the East Coast. Like we both grew up because we just got to know each other, right? And then after that, I think he reached out like 2 weeks later. But it was when he said it, I was like, I have been meaning to figure out who you are for like 8 months now. I feel like maybe it's time that we chat. Is that about
that
right?
Was, oh, it's about right. That was like one of the best, just like happenstance. Like we end up meeting, and Stephanie's one of our earliest. Stephanie at RNG Roofing. Shout out to RNG. They're one of our earliest contractors and customers, and that was a cool story all around.
Yeah,
because I just especially like we're new, like not our name is still getting thrown out there. We're trying to get bigger on the name brand recognition, but like when I heard that and you said expletive, I was like, oh no, she's gonna say something awful. And then it was like, oh no. But it honestly, Greg Hain's also been a really huge supporter of ours and mentor. So appreciate that.
Yeah, and it was so funny too, because like that conference was in Dallas. So like Stephanie was driving down. I was speaking at it. She was planning to like drive down the next day to see me. So I was texting her. I was like, guess who's at the conference? It just was so
That's
funny.
wild.
It's why I love roofing, 'cause it's such a small world, right? That it's
So
just
small.
one of those things where, and I still after that, like I was like, cool, well, if we're even gonna think about using you guys, you're gonna talk to every one of my staff members. And I mean, I think we were all very, very hesitant. We were not very trusting at the time, but I mean, his team sold us hook, line, and sinker. It was a no-brainer for sure. So
You put him through the gambit and he won.
that's it. Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
All credit goes to the team on that. That's Greg, Alec, Brian, everyone. But
Yeah.
full team effort there.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that. So, where can people listening to this find more about Terial? And do you have, demos they could be a part of? Give us the scoop.
100%. So easy website, www.terial, spelled like material without the MA.com. We also have our page on Roofers Coffee Shop. You should absolutely reach out to me, Aaron at Terial.com, if you want to get a demo, and we can set up personalized live demos. I'd say find us on socials, LinkedIn, directly on our website. But yeah, you can submit any requests on our website as well.
Amazing.
Or reach out to Megan and Lauren.
So true. Reach out to us. We'll connect you. Definitely go to the Terial directory on rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. You can see all their other webinars and podcasts and articles and all that jazz as well. Well, congratulations, Lauren and Aaron, on a successful onboarding. I hope it continues to just be fabulous.
We'll do the follow-up in 2 months.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely do a follow-up in 2 months to see how it's all going.
Loved it.
Thank you both so much for chatting with me. This has been amazing. Everyone, please stay tuned for more and go to rooferscoffeeshop.com to listen to all of our other recordings, podcasts, and webinars. And we'll see you next time on the next roofing road trip. If you've enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on every roofing adventure. Make sure to visit rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next roofing road trip.